Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM. So this is a kit in 1/35 scale. It's Studebaker US6 with World War II Soviet drivers. So basically we get a combo kit in 1/35 scale, and it might be an interesting release for these modders who would like to build a simple diorama, maybe a truck with some figures inside, not just a plain model, because we are all used to see empty models, and now you get a chance to get everything or buy everything in one box. So in my opinion, it's a quite interesting idea. So that's why I decided that we are going to take a look today and actually check what is actually supplied here in this box. So as you can guess, this is a commercial sample, and it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review, so nothing will change. It's a final state of this kit. And first of all, here we have this nice box art, so it looks really good. And as I said before in previous ICM release reviews, they stepped up the box art quality, I would say really significantly, so you can notice it with your own eyes. Then on the side we have some information about this kit. So there are 214 plus 13 parts. Assembled model will have a length of 183 millimeters and height of 77 millimeters. Here we also have short history note, and on the other side you can see this same marking option as what we have on the box art, but I truly hope that there will be a bit more than that. So everything is sealed with a sticky tape, so I'm going to use a sharp knife in order to cut through, because otherwise we won't be able to open it. And that also means that you won't be able to check what is supplied in your box. So I would rather suggest to ask your seller to pack it carefully if you are getting it via post, and maybe also try a shake test. We all know what is this, but we also know that ICM boxes are quite sturdy, so I did not have any issues with them. It's more of a problem of a tight packaging, not of the, I would say, rigidness of the box. So as you can see, box design is standard for ICM. We have color printed top cover, it's quite flexible, and then we have sturdy white cardboard box. It actually protects everything inside, as I said before. So let's open it, and here is what we have inside. So as I said again, we have two plastic bags, because these are basically two separate kits combined into one box. As you can see, all truck parts are packed into one plastic bag, and then we have another plastic bag with figures. And of course we are going to start with figures because they were on the top, so just give me a second to open them and we will take a closer look together. Okay, so here we have two plastic frames, and these are two different drivers, so maybe I'll position them like this. And we zoom in a bit. Now you should be able to see that here we have two drivers. I would say Power's design is also typical for 1/35 scale. So you will get separate hands, heads, and torso, which is molded as one piece. And attachment points are really thin, so we can turn over these frames. So these attachment points won't be a problem to cut through. And of course, we do not have any guiding elements inside, so be ready for that. It might require some careful alignment so that figures would look natural and you won't have any ugly gaps between these separate parts. Next, we continue with a plastic bag for truck kit. So just give me a second to open it and take everything outside. And straight away I see one part broken off. So here it is. It's the top section of the cab. I wonder why it broken off. We will check which sprue actually misses this sprue, this part. But first of all, there is a clear sprue in a separate plastic bag on the top. So here it is. Let's place it somewhere here. We also zoom in as much as we can. And now you can see that here we have really nice clear parts. I'm not sure if there will be a mask template, because they started to include it with modern kits, and this is a relatively not young kit, so that's why I suppose there won't be any masks template. So we can continue with another sprue. This is a gray plastic sprue here. We place it somewhere like this, and also zoom out a bit. Now you can check parts for the front cap. So as you can see, doors are molded separately, so I suppose they will be openable on the final model. And that's really cool because we will have two figures inside, so it might be a handy feature to show these figures inside. And we can also zoom in again so that you can check all these parts closer. As usual, we are going to start from the corner here. So you can notice here thin side view mirrors, also one of the doors, separate bonnet, seat. Next, we continue with the dashboard and some control elements, gearbox, stick. And here we have rear wall for the front cap, steering wheel. What else? Radiator grille, one more door, and separate handles here, which are really tiny here. You can see comparison with my fingertips, so be careful and be sure not to lose any of them because it will be really funny stuff to find them. And by the way, if you lose them to the carpet monster, we made a special apparel series of t-shirts and sweaters with carpet monster, so you can find it in our community tab on YouTube or on our Teespring webpage. So there are several products, quite interesting ones, and this is a special custom artwork which is available only through our Teespring page. So here we continue with another sprue. This one is dedicated to road wheels, and because this is a truck there will be many of them. And also we have leaf springs on both sides for the front and rear sections. We can zoom in, but straight away I can say that these plastic parts are really good inclusion for such kit, and it means that we won't have any vinyl parts inside, and it also means an easier painting and weathering, but you will have to cut some masks because masks are not included and you will have to paint somehow these one-piece elements. By the way, inside you can notice that there are separate sections which will have to be inserted here. But everything looks completely fine. Maybe we can also check the tires here. So with some additional painting and weathering you'll get a really nice result. So we zoom out a bit. And next plastic sprue is here. So let's place it like this. And it is easy to guess that here we have parts for the rear section, and obviously it should be glued out of separate panels because shape is quite simple. So here you can see some of them, and as far as you can see there is no wooden texture, so you will have to paint it somehow in order to have something reminding of the wood, or maybe to get some, let's say, cuts or surface imitation on these parts. But as far as you can see they're plain. Just give me a second to take a closer look. Yes, they're completely plain. So I think they should not be plain. So you will have to solve this somehow. And now it is quite interesting because we had this top part for the front cap, but I do not see where it should be molded in because all the sprues are completely fine. So I guess it wasn't broken off. It should be there as a separate part. Okay, so we have one more plastic sprue here. This one is dedicated to main frame and also some of the engine parts. So maybe we zoom out like this so that you can take a look first at the whole sprue. And also note this one-piece drivetrain, which is quite interesting part design. That's the first time I see it in ICM kits, frankly speaking, and even though this is not a old, actually not a young kit as I said before, so here you can take a closer look. We also have a lot of parts for the suspension and drivetrain, so this is a relatively detailed kit out of the box, especially if you spend some time painting and weathering all this stuff, and engine as well. So it will be a really nice result. And of course you can also detail the engine with some additional ignition wires or something else, and it will be even better looking result as a on the final model. Nevertheless, there is one more sprue in this kit. So it is dedicated to the parts for the rear section. So again, we have separate panels, and again, we do not have any wooden texture on them. They're quite plain. So I would recommend to spend some time replicating some wood weathering on these parts, because it will be a really nice idea to have it in 1/35 scale. We also have these frames, so maybe you can replicate a version with a tarp on the top, but of course you have to source a tarp out of your tools and I would say things. Maybe you can use some tissue, because I saw some modelers replicating it with a tissue, so it's up to you. And again, we can return to this section of the front cab. So here it is molded as a one-piece part, and here you can take a look inside. So there are no push marks, which is really good. And of course you have to insert the clear parts inside the front glass. And as far as I can understand, these doors will be openable, which is really cool, but we have to take a look in the assembly manual, which also contains the Decals sheet, which I will show in a second. So here it is, and it looks like a completely new Decals sheet. So we will have to check the assembly manual if it is, but printing quality looks really nice, so I don't have anything to complain here. And what is next? Just give me a second. I can see that they made, I guess this is a, or not. So we have a separate small brochure about this truck. Maybe we zoom out, close the camera a bit, so that it won't be that bright. So here we have a small brochure with a marking guide, which is printed, as you can see, in black and white, because truck should be in green color, as you remember. And here you can see another marking options. So in total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marking options, which is really impressive to get out of the box, and I guess ICM deserves a bonus point for this. Next we continue with another assembly manual, this time for Soviet drivers. So as you can see, this is a separate brochure, and it was a set named as RKKA drivers from 1943-1945. We have paint chart, we have parts scale, actually map, and here we have a painting guide. So as you can see, there are two types of the figures, which is really funny because you can choose between them, and maybe you can also think how to place them both into the front cab. Next we continue with assembly manual for the truck itself. So here it is, a bit bigger brochure. No history note because it was on the box, I suppose. So here we start straight away with the... Oh, actually the short history note was on the special brochure with the markings. So here we have parts map. Next we start assembly process with an engine, and as you can see, engine is quite detailed. So as I said, if you would like to expose it on your model, spend some time painting and weathering and maybe adding some minor features, and you'll be really surprised with the final result. Next we continue with the drivetrain. As you can see, there are a lot of minor elements for the suspension to attach here and there, and actually, yeah, this is a drivetrain, and then we start with the main chassis. So as you can see, it gets assembled out of separate panels, obviously, or bars. Then you assemble fuel tank, various storage boxes, and also radiator. Next, we continue by joining all this stuff together. We assemble the rear compartment and install some minor things there. And what is next? Next we start working on the front cab. So it should be glued out of separate panels, as you remember, but we have doors as a separate parts, and even though assembly manual does not show the possibility to open them on your model, I guess it should be possible because they are molded separately, so it's up to you whether you would like to open them, expose the figure inside. Next we continue by installation of the front cab on the main chassis, and the same can be said about the rear part. And on the last page you can see some minor things to do. So as you can see, we have two assembly options, one with this front protection on the rear part, or with these brackets for the tarpaulin, and you can also cover them, so that will be the third marking option or the third assembly options. So that's all for today's video review, and as you can see, this kit number It's not actually 35311, it's a kit number 3551010, so one number less, but it should be already available and you can get it in Modelimex. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such release here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!